I'm Jeremy Reid of Jeremy Reid. Ellie Safarti. He is the man. And if you haven't heard already, he's got an amazing book out, a published writer. He is just an absolute inspiration to so many people, has a huge following on social media. Ellie, why don't you just jump right in? Tell us about your story. Tell us about your book, and just give us a little rundown.
Jeremy, good evening, man. I'm so excited we're doing this together. You know, you and I have known each other for quite a few years now. Matter of fact, I trained under you for a little bit, we follow the same, have the same passions to help other people. You have a great story as well. So, thanks for inviting me to do this together with you. For those of you that don't know me, again, my name is Ellie Safarti. A lot of people know me as my AKA Fat Boy Fit Man. Just 8 years ago, at the age of 38, I weighed 300 pounds. I was clinically and medically obese with all of the ailments that you can imagine that goes with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, triglycerides. I used to be a 2-pack a day cigarette smoker as well. I was the poster boy for bad health, man.
I was right there with you, smoking every day, 2 packs a day.
So today's BLAB is actually about taking the first step into your journey of fitness. I'm sure a lot of you here have already taken your first step, and there's going to be people here that haven't taken that first step. So we're going to cover a few things. My specific motto is one step at a time. Jeremy invited me to come and speak about this because I think it's very, very important, especially coming into the new year, that we don't take things as an all or nothing. 8 years ago, when I started at 300 pounds and having yo-yo dieted my entire life, I grew up a fat boy. That's why my name, Fat Boy Fit Man. It's not, it's not a plug. It wasn't a fancy name. It was literally my nickname growing up, Fat Boy. And yo-yo dieted my entire life. Joined the gym every January 1st, for a week, 2 weeks, sometimes even a month, but just quit out. It was just too much for the mind to capture. It wasn't who I was. It wasn't my lifestyle. And I wanted to jump in from being that, fat boy, that fat man, that obese person into being this fit guy. And It just doesn't work like that. 8 years ago, I had an epiphany where I decided that I needed to make a change like I did every year. But this time I said, how many times am I going to fail at the exact same thing? So I chose to take two small steps. One was in exercising, and I decided to just take 15 minutes a day to walk. And the second step was changing one thing in my diet. Not dieting, but just changing one thing in my diet. My particular first change, was stopping to drink soda. So that's a little bit of a nutshell. 8 years later, today I'm 46 years old, in the best shape of my life. I've lost over 100 pounds, 110 pounds to be exact, put on muscle. I feel absolutely great, run 10 half marathons, 1 full marathon. Listen, I can go on and on and on and on about my physical accomplishments, which I happen to be very proud of. But most importantly, I'm proud that I can share with you the fact that not only I can do this, but, Jeremy's right here next to me, man. Jeremy used to be a fat boy himself. And now he's a freaking cover model. And we're here to share with you some motivation, some tips, and some inspiration. We're going to take your questions, some of your questions at the end, and we're really, really looking forward to hearing what you got to say and your questions. So without further ado, I'm going to throw it over to Jeremy and let you take the show, man.
Cool. I do want to mention, because we got to plug this too, is Ellie's got a fantastic book out. If you haven't read it already, I challenge you to pick up a copy and read it. I'm going to paste a link to it. There it is. I'm going to paste a link to it. I've pasted it into the chat on the right-hand side on Amazon. I mean, you really can't go wrong. Even the Kindle version is like, what, $3.99 or something like that? I mean, it's
$4, man.
$4. I mean, it'll be the best $4 you ever invested into getting some useful information. And even if you've already started your journey, even if you're a seasoned fitness professional, this book has some amazing content in it. And definitely going to be something that will inspire you, motivate you, and show it from the point of view of Ellie himself. And it's fantastic. I mean, if you're not going to pick up the hardcover, if that's too much, definitely throw in the $4 for the Kindle version and read that. It's certainly worth it. So I've pasted a link in there. we've got some great stuff planned tonight. We've got kind of an outline, but at the same time, I do want to take some questions and really just kind of interact with you guys a lot too. I have been looking forward to this. I've been like a giddy little schoolboy ever since we picked a date, and here it is. So, you said you started, but what was just in a nutshell, what was it? What was the actual mental time when you decided to get your act together? What did that look like for you?
Man, it's actually a funny story. And, most people would think it's some great epiphany moment. And it was for me, but it's actually really funny. I traveled a lot for business back then, and I was at the airport in Miami International Airport buying a bottle of water at a kiosk, and a cute clerk told me, "You're really good looking for a big guy." A guy 300 pounds. If you look at me, the cover of my book has my before picture right here. I hate to stereotype, but man, a lot of people tell me I look like a terrorist. That to me was not a very. I didn't consider myself good looking at all. I had very low self-esteem. And that compliment should have really raised my spirits, but it didn't. All I heard was, "You're fat." The truth is, if I can use a little profanity here, is I heard, "You're a fat ass." That's all I heard. "You're a fat ass." And I know the girl meant well, but I wish I knew who she was, because I thank her today. She changed my life. That moment was, and it wasn't like I didn't know I was fat. It wasn't like I didn't know I needed to lose weight. It wasn't like I didn't know I was sick, but it was just that moment. I said, well, what am I going to do? I'm 38 years old. How many times am I going to do this? And I said this before, getting on the airplane, I could barely fit in the seat anymore. I needed about a millimeter more to order a seatbelt extension. I was disgusted with myself, but after going through all this feeling of disgust, of guilt, of sadness, I laid in my hotel room in Honduras, and I said, okay, what are you going to do, Ellie? And I said, look, man, you got to do something, a little something that you can commit to. Because if you can't commit to at least the smallest things, how do you plan to commit to an hour a day at the gym? How do you plan to commit to a serious diet if you can't do one thing? So I said, Let me do one thing. I decided to do two things, one on the exercise side and one on the making one change to my daily nutrition. I think that is so key. My book points it out. Again, and this is not a talk about selling my book. Honestly, I wrote my book not to make money. I'll be honest with you. I don't make a lot of money with a book. If anybody out there is ready to write a book, I could tell you a book is a very expensive business card. But what I did do was put my heart and soul, my experience. The book is really about motivation. It's not an exercise book. There's no exercise guideline there. It's not going to tell you do this, do that, do this. It is not a diet book, okay? It is not going to tell you eat this, don't eat that. What it is going to tell you how to build your own one step at a time system, okay? Jeremy Reid has the exercise programs, his shapeshifter. He's got his diet plans. I worked with Jeremy for quite a few months with great results. And again, this is not about me and Jeremy promoting ourselves, but just letting you know that two normal guys that just a few years ago were the fat asses, were the fat boys, were the guys that just sat on the couch and were lethargic, are here today helping people around the world. And we want to help you. We want to help you with that motivation to know that you can do it too. And that really is it. And taking small steps. I can't, it's such a simple thing, Jeremy. People think that I have like this great secret that I'm just going to, what is it? What is it? And it's not a secret. And it really is not. It's very simple. I'm not saying it's easy because it's hard. You got to really build up to it, but it's very, very simple. And I think that's what people are losing is that simplicity. People want to think that it's complicated, some complicated diet, some complicated exercise programs. And that's where people fail, especially coming from places like you and I did, 300 plus pounds.
Yeah, that's actually to kind of go back for a second. And you mentioned something of it's not a diet. You didn't look at it as a diet. You looked at it as, changing one thing. And that's something I commonly tell my clients, especially the ones who have come to me and they they haven't been on something specific in the past, or, their diet is very bad. They don't, they don't work out, these types of things. In the odds of me being able to put them on a very clean, very healthy, strenuous diet and a strenuous exercise program, like you said, you're gearing them up for failure in that point. A lot of times it's a mental switch that needs to happen, are looking at this a little differently, right? We are no longer dieting. This isn't a diet. This is sustainable for the rest of your life. We are making small changes or big changes, whatever you're ready for at that time. We're making the changes and implementing them, but this is not a diet. You can eat this way for the rest of your life, right? Anytime you go on something that's not sustainable, then at some point you're going to have to come off of this. And what are you going to do at that point, right? A lot of times the whole reason people yo-yo so often is because they go on this strenuous diet. They cut out all carbs. They cut out whatever. They go on something that's just a nightmare for their lifestyle, especially this time of the year. I mean, can you imagine how hard it is for some of these people who have completely cut out large portions of foods in order to get through the holidays or get through things. I mean, it's just, it's very, very challenging. And there's only very specific times when I would recommend that. But just the mental switch of looking at this as changing your lifestyle, of changing the habits that many of us have spent decades building, is what it takes to have the drive and the vision to go long term. And the goal for all of my clients, and some of them utilize it more than others, but the goal for all of my clients is to start finding solutions for these negative habits they've built, the binge eating, the boredom eating, all of these bad habits that they've gotten, and start replacing it, finding alternatives to get out these, whatever they are, the emotions that are causing them to do this. We've had a stressful day, let's go eat. Got in a fight with your spouse, let's go eat. Had a great day, let's go eat. A lot of times we use food, especially, a lot of times it's 4 things: food, alcohol, sex, and drugs. We use something of this as a coping mechanism or as a celebratory thing in our lives to get out emotion. And so we have to start finding some things in our life to deal with these things. And Ellie's plan of one step at a time is absolutely, I agree with it 110%. Starting out, and I've taken this approach with many, many clients of, hey, look, let's just focus on this one little thing, right? In Ellie's case, drinking regular soda. That's a big one, huge one, right there.
Well, if I can interrupt you, Jeremy, I can just tell you, with that simple change, and I don't know how many people on here are drink regular soda or not. Again, people tell me, well, I don't. Some people tell me I don't drink regular soda, or I don't eat ice cream, or I don't. So one step at a time is really specific about you. So you have to figure out what change you have to make. But to give you my personal experience, cutting out regular soda and walking simply 15 minutes a day. When I was 300 pounds, I lost 2 pounds the first week, and I still ate burgers, I still ate pizza, I still ate fries, I still ate ice cream. I still ate every single thing that was in my bad diet at the time. I just didn't drink soda, and I was walking for 15 minutes a day. 2 pounds. The second week, the exact same thing, 2 pounds. That's really what motivated me to continue this. I was like, whoa, this really works. Like, let's just continue putting a little bit more. And the truth is that, like you mentioned, you said one word, man, and I use it over and over and over again: sustainability. Okay, we can put you, Jerry and I, or the other 100,000 great nutritionists and trainers around the world can put you on the best and the most specific and high-tech diets that exist. Unfortunately, they're not sustainable. I'm not knocking anything. I'm just telling you, do they work? Yes, absolutely, they work. They absolutely will have you lose weight. The problem is, as long as you stay on them. Unfortunately, we can't stay on these type of diets for a very long time, especially starting out. Today, I'm sure Jeremy will agree with me, the way that him and I eat, and I'm pretty sure I know how Jeremy eats. We eat very similar. He eats more than me, though. Look at him; he's bigger than me. So, is our way of life. Do I indulge? I can speak for myself. I'm going to be very honest with you. Let me show you what I have on the side over here. I have a little glass of wine. Okay. I am not this perfect guy that doesn't drink, that doesn't eat, indulge in certain things. I happen to be training right now. Jeremy, please don't tell my coach that I showed you that glass of wine, or anybody on here. I shouldn't be having that glass of wine. But again, it's about being able to do what you can do. I know that this glass of wine, it's not going to throw me off completely, but I needed it mentally. So we can't beat ourselves up, is the point that I'm trying to make, is you have to know what you're able to do, but you must be honest. You must be very honest with yourself. And no, that's one thing, is I'm honest with myself. I've always been honest with myself from 8 years to today. Have I screwed up? Absolutely. Have I fallen off the wagon? Absolutely. But I've been honest with myself. And that's why I've been able to maintain, the physical level that I'm at. And I'm happy. I really, truly am happy. And I want everybody, I wish that I can go into everybody's body, everybody's mind and give them my knowledge and that feeling that I know that this is possible for the rest of our lives. It's so empowering.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, if you told me that I couldn't have burgers or pizza ever again, I'd cut you. I mean, it just doesn't work for me. So absolutely. I'm all for still incorporating the great foods that we love to eat. In my opinion, especially coming from someone who has had some pretty major eating disorders in the past, from a guy who can't just have one bite, one nibble. And having trained a lot of clients who are in the same boat, we have to do these things in a very planned, fashion. Going in with a plan, and you'll hear me say this in almost every single one of my videos: plan. We have to plan, because, and Ellie, you know this, you're training for something, and somebody's asking several times, what are you training for? Can you say that real quickly? What are you training for?
I'm actually training for my first fitness model show in April. It's the Gold Coast Championships in Delray Beach, Florida. So I will be on stage, not wearing the banana hammock like Jeremy does when he competes. I'll be wearing board shorts and a couple of other fitness model stuff, like a suit and a casual wear. So it's a little bit different than just bodybuilding, but it's a big step for me. So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. And so here I go again, getting sidetracked whenever I got off topic, but it have to be done in a planned fashion. When I'm having cheat meals and all of that stuff, I have to plan ahead, and I urge my clients to plan ahead as well, because anytime we go about, I mean, you're trying to, eat certain things during the day, whatever it may be, make smarter choices. The chances of that happening, especially coming off of a lifestyle where, let's say, for decades you've lived off of literally whatever you wanted to eat, and then all of a sudden trying to clean it up and all of this stuff, going about our day without a plan, just willy-nilly trying to make decisions, a lot of times you're setting yourself up for failure. Where if you plan ahead, prep foods, know what your day is going to consist of, you're less likely to go off track. You're less likely to skip your workout or talk yourself out of a workout. I'm very busy with client calls and all sorts of stuff during the day. I have to schedule my workouts in my day as if it was another appointment, as if it was another call I had to make. I'm not going to skip a call. I'm not going to skip my workout. It's in my calendar. It has to happen. And I urge my clients to do that too, especially the ones that are, after a couple of weeks, we're finding, okay, they kind of procrastinated, and then it got to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and they talked themselves out of going because it was too late, where they could have fit it in during the day. So a lot of times just going in with a plan is absolutely crucial as well. And in a way, you started a plan of, hey, I'm not going to drink soda anymore. And you compounded on that and built on that until, now the Ellie that you are now, and the way that you live your life is drastically different than the 300-pound Ellie 8 years ago.
Absolutely drastically different, but it didn't go from just stopping to drink soda to where I am today. There's a lot in between 8 years. I mean, a lot. I want to give out some very specific tips for those that are here with us now, that still work miracles for me. I'll be honest with you. Eating out. I love eating out. Love going out to restaurants. I'm extremely social, invited to a lot of different social events. And that can be very difficult. One of the things that I do is, number one, is I know where I'm going to go eat beforehand. I don't just pick a restaurant randomly. Since I know where I'm going to go eat, I actually check the menu online before I go, and I make a choice of what I'm going to eat before I get to the restaurant. That saves me from binge eating, from going in and go, ooh, I want that. I already know. I go in with the plan of what I am going to eat. Number 2 is I eat something before I leave to go to the restaurant to make sure that I am not absolutely starving. When you show up to a restaurant or someone's home for a dinner or for lunch or for whatever it is, Christmas is coming this week, right? Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Guys, I suggest highly that you eat something before you have your Christmas meal. And I don't mean a meal. I mean something so that you don't feel absolutely famished and you just hit every single appetizer that there is, especially at a restaurant. Bread, for instance, is a killer. You know, they bring out the bread, and what's the first thing? When I'm hungry at a restaurant, and I've done that, oh my God, there is nothing that will stop me. And I got to tell you, I have some serious willpower. I've got some serious control, but there is no controlling me when I'm hungry. There really is not. Another key thing for a restaurant is, especially at the beginning when you're starting, one of your first steps in your journey is when you order your food, make sure you tell the waiter to bring you a to-go box and pack half of it, or even have them do it. Sometimes they will do it for you. Pack half the meal. I promise you, restaurants in this country, in the United States, I don't know about other countries, but in the United States, one meal is probably good for 2 people for the most part, in most places. You cut that meal in half, put it away. Okay, you're not throwing it out. If you have it on your plate, you're going to continue eating it. If you have it in a to-go box, I guarantee you 99.9% of the time, you will not dig into the bag to eat your other half. Have it for lunch the next day. Have it for dinner the next day. Okay, these steps have really, really helped me. I hope that you're taking this. These are very, very practical tips that I'm giving you. Jeremy, if you want to add something to that, I know that helps me quite a lot, especially going out to eat.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, the looking the restaurant up online and kind of essentially pre-ordering what you're gonna in your head, that's something I urge all the time. I mean, and many of the people on this call right now or on this Blab right now, I have helped pick what they're going to eat at a restaurant because I do that with my clients. I'll say, hey, what restaurant you're going to, especially now. I've done it daily for the last couple of weeks with all of holiday parties and company parties and this kind of stuff going on. I've helped my clients pick out what to eat in a restaurant all the time. And it really does help. When you go in, then you don't even need to look at the menu and you don't need to stress. A lot of times, and going into kind of a talking point of how important our mindset is and the mental equation of this whole journey is. And many of you can relate with this. If you can relate to what I'm saying, type yes in the bottom. But when you're at a restaurant and you are having a mental war with yourself sometimes of, I want this, but I probably should eat this. But I and it's this back and forth that's filled with a whole bunch of guilt and shame and all of this crap. And you're why am I wanting this? I've been doing so well, or why am I? And it's just ridiculous. We drive ourselves nuts when all of this could be avoided had we just looked it up beforehand and said, oh no, I'm going to have the grilled salmon salad. Exactly. That's what I'm going to have. And, and then you don't even have to look at the menu and you can enjoy the company and enjoy what going out to eat and celebrating and meeting up with friends is supposed to be. It's about the company. It's about the fellowship. It's about enjoying some good food, which you're still going to be able to do, and enjoying those around you instead of dragging yourself down in this mental garbage of desire and of two desires of wanting to follow the plan and getting to your goals, yet being tempted by all the stuff that we know how good it tastes. And so without a doubt, pull the restaurant up online and decide what you're having before you go. Ellie's absolutely correct.
Another thing that I do, and some people might either love me or hate me for this, is we really, and when I say we, I include myself, and I have learned, and not too just a couple of years ago, really, you go to a restaurant, and I'm going to give a very specific example. I used to go to California Pizza Kitchen. I don't know how many of you know California Pizza Kitchen. And I said, so I'm going to eat a salad. They have this delicious salad, which is the Moroccan spice. It's Moroccan something. I don't know exactly what it's called. And it has dates and it has avocado and it has pecans and it's just, all these natural great things. I decided to look that salad up once as far as nutritional content. Can anybody guess? Type it in. I'll give you a few seconds to type in how many calories do you think that salad has? Guys, go ahead and type it in.
So deceiving. It's so deceiving. We think like, oh yeah, I'm eating healthy as a salad.
1250, 1300. Yeah. 1850. 1850 is really close. 1850 is really close. I believe that salad has about 2,000 calories. That is correct. That last guess there came in 2,000 calories. That is right now. That is my daily caloric intake. That's what I should be taking in a day. Okay, a guy that actually works out sometimes twice a day. 2,000 calories. It's insane.
And that's making a smart decision. And that's what you think making a smart decision at California Peak Nutrition.
That's the point that I'm trying to make, Jeremy. I want people to start going in. The internet is so vast. All you have to do on your phone, you just have to type something in and you can get the nutritional information in a zap. Okay. If you start looking up the stuff that you're eating, you will start realizing that you go, oh my God, you'll be in shock. And you'll start making better decisions. Not a matter of feeling guilty. Oh my God, I can't believe I ate that. No. The idea here is to educate yourself to realize, man, you know what? I can have a burger instead of that salad because that burger has 900 calories and 40 grams of fat versus 2,000 calories and 120 grams of fat, right? And you're thinking you're making a better decision by eating a salad. I'll give you another example. Jeremy, you travel quite a bit. Now, I know that we're usually prepared. You're probably more prepared than I am. Sometimes I'm not prepared and I have an issue at an airport. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm hungry and I can't find the right protein bar or protein shake or something. So one time I picked up a turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread. It was prepackaged. Okay. I didn't eat it. You know why? Because I checked the label and I was like, holy crap. It was like 800 calories and it was, I don't know, an insane amount of grams of fat. 40 grams of fat or something like that. I mean, you're talking about this little thin slice of turkey, and I don't know what gave it so much fat. Maybe the mayonnaise. I don't know. I have no idea. But all I can tell you is most people would go and say, I'm going to make a smart decision. I'm just going to have the turkey on whole wheat. And it really is, unfortunately, not a good decision. Not because the person made a bad decision, because we're being deceived. We don't know what we're eating. So we need to educate ourselves. And that's a very important thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, we need to understand that restaurants are businesses, and restaurants are in the business of making food taste good. And so, you're never going to go to a restaurant where they're making something that doesn't taste good, especially in their eyes, because that's the whole point of us going there, is to spend our money, give them money for good tasting food. And so we go in with this plan or this, this, I'm going to eat this because it should be healthier. But a lot of times, if we haven't done our research, we are totally deceived with what's loaded in there. I mean, many times even your grilled chicken breast or your grilled whatever is grilled in clarified butter or oil. And it's just unbelievable what we're taking in when we go out and we're not informed. And so a lot of times going in and specifying, hey, could it not be grilled in oil or butter? A lot of steaks are topped with steak butter. You don't see it, but you get this juicy steak that comes out. And they've added a tremendous amount of calories and fat from a seasoned steak butter that they put on top. And so it's one of those things where you got to kind of go in with a little bit of knowledge and a plan of what you're going. And so, and we don't say this, Ellie and I definitely, I know I'm going to speak for you here. We're not saying this to talk you out of going to restaurants or eating out. We both love food. We both love food. We both love eating out, but we have to be somewhat educated on the reality of what it is out there and also in terms of getting to our goals. And that's the whole reason of doing, episodes like this is just to inform and inspire and make you think about, from guys that have a few years of experience in dealing with this stuff and dealing with other people. So,
hey, Jerry, I have to interrupt you because Camille Renee, I hope that I'm saying that right. She says, great, I'll be eating grass from here on out. Camille, I promise you that I don't eat grass. I'm just a little bit more educated on what I do eat, and I eat. I really do eat. I cook a lot of my meals. My wife cooks a lot of my meals. We do eat out quite a bit just because we enjoy that social aspect of it. But again, if you educate yourself, you will make the right choices. Jeremy mentioned a few things about sauces and butters and clarified oils. Restaurants will do things. What's the word I'm looking for here? Will accommodate you. for things. Be specific. Say, I want the grilled chicken without any oil or without any butter, or the steak without any butter, just want it dry, or what have you. They will accommodate you. The idea here is, and I think if it's one thing that you take away from this blab today, is that, here you have two guys that are really normal guys. For the most part, we're normal.
Other than being ridiculously good looking.
Well, that's true. But we live our lives, we enjoy our lives, and we are athletes. We do compete in several sports. I know Jeremy, is a power lifter and a bodybuilder. I've been a marathon runner for many years, and now focusing a little bit more on the physique side of bodybuilding. But we still live our lives and we enjoy it. And we want you to know that you don't have to be an athlete, number one. You don't have to be an athlete to be healthy. You don't. You don't have to spend hours on end at the gym, and you don't have to eat like an athlete does. But you do need to educate yourself. If you're on this blab, it's because you want to be healthy. It's because you want to be fit, perhaps. And like I posted the other day on my Facebook page, healthy doesn't mean fit, and fit doesn't necessarily mean healthy. So, yeah. Okay, here we're not selling fitness. We're selling motivation for you to become what you want to become, whether it's healthy, whether it's fit, or fit and healthy. Whatever it is, your choice. We're not selling anything here. We're telling you that you can do what you want to do, what you want to become, as long as you education and planification. Those are the two real key ingredients. Obviously, action is the other thing. You can talk all day long. We can have the most beautiful motivational quotes read to you. Sit here. You can leave this conversation today and be absolutely motivated. Say, wow, these guys motivated me. But if you don't take action, none of this is worth anything.
Yeah, and with that in mind, Ellie, let's talk about how important, in your opinion, is keeping a positive mindset in all of this. Because like you said, you've fallen off the wagon before. So have I. Everyone is. No one is perfect. But how important do you think that implementing some processes in your life of keeping a positive mindset is going to be in your overall success long term?
Look, we hear over and over again. We listen to motivational speakers. We online today on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We see all kinds of motivational quotes. We see it on TV. About being positive and believing in yourself and all of this stuff. Of course, this is important. Of course, positivity is important. You're not going to be able to do anything if you sit there and say you can't do it. You're not going to be able to do it. Being negative about something, I suck at this or I suck at that. It's not going to help you. But there's something that I want to point out is that you don't necessarily have to believe in yourself in order to take action. 8 years ago, I didn't believe in myself when I took action. I didn't believe that I would be where I am today. I didn't even think about it. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. But I simply took an action and I said, whatever, I'm going for it. This is what I'm going to do today. Not for tomorrow, not for next week, not for next year. How many pounds am I going to lose? How long is this going to take me? None of those thoughts crossed my mind. Not 8 years ago. It did many, many years before that. That was my mindset. 8 years ago and today, I live for today. What can I do today to make myself, and it doesn't necessarily mean have just weight loss or fitness or anything. My entire life, my goals in life in general. What can I do today to achieve that goal? What can I do today? And that's all we got is really today.
Absolutely.
So focus on today, be positive for today. And even if you don't believe you can do it, just do it.
Yeah. And I have so many people that come to me that need to lose 100 pounds, 150, 200 pounds. And one of the first things that I'll tell them is, hey, look, if we start to actually analyze what it's going to take for you to lose 150 pounds, and that's all you focus on, you are likely going to get defeated and you're going to fall off the wagon. It is too big of a mountain for you to focus on tackling that entire mountain in one step. It's not going to happen that way. And that's what causes a lot of people to drop off, to fall off the wagon and never get back on, or get back on when they're 30 pounds heavier this time. We have to focus on what can we do today or this week, or set small goals. We have to get something in place that we are conquering each step of the way. That way we can set our mind to, what can I do today? I totally agree with Ellie, right? If we look at, okay, look, I have to eat this certain way, or I have to cut this out of my life for the rest of my life, and that's all you focus on, of course you're going to be negative. This whole process is going to be negative. But if you say, look, here is my goal for today. Can I get through just today without doing this and this and this, or following this plan? Absolutely. Everyone can probably set their minds to something and conquer it that day. And then you wake up in the morning, and I highly recommend putting some sort of process in your life, whether it's a sticky note on the bathroom mirror, whether it's the background to your phone, whether it's something, journaling, whatever it may be, to really remind yourself of your goals every single day, and then focus on that day. At least one step at a time approach is the right way to do it. He hit the nail on the head with this book. He hit the nail on the head with his philosophy and his approach. And it truly is, coming from somebody who has lost well over 100 pounds themselves, completely transformed my body, just like Ellie. It is it is the only way, really. I don't know anyone who's gotten as far as we have and kept it off and progressed as far as we have that didn't take it a step at a time, essentially. They might not have used those exact words, but they did. They took it slow, or they started implementing changes, or they totally took it in a step-by-step approach. I don't know of anybody. I really don't. I don't know of anybody who's made a massive change and just all of a sudden, went from 0 to 10 overnight and stayed at a 10. No, I really don't.
The truth is that everybody that I know that has seriously, and I know people from all spectrums of life, not just people that have lost. My clients are people that are morbidly obese for the most part. I don't really work with anybody that's any less than 80 pounds overweight. I know that you work with Jeremy and I do very different things. I work more. I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a therapist, but I work a little bit more on the motivational, psychological part of getting people ready. Taking them through those initial steps. Jeremy is a trainer, very specific dieting plans, very specific training plans. I have worked with him personally. We believe in the same things. Basically, I take people that aren't ready to work with Jeremy yet and get them ready to work with Jeremy. Does that make sense, Jeremy? Did I say that correctly?
Sure. Yeah.
Did I say that right? Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, the thing here is that we all have a common denominator, people that have been overweight. And when I mean overweight, I don't mean 20, 30 pounds. And I'm not saying that 20, 30 pounds is not a big deal. Everybody, it's relative to everybody. But for myself, having grown up being obese, overweight and obese as an adult, we have a common denominator, and the more I speak to people, it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I'm reading some of the comments here. Is it says J Roller Photog says, I'm a really impatient person, so it's been a struggle to not get caught up in how much I need to lose and focus on what I have lost so far. I leave notes for myself everywhere. For instance, my success, I never once, this time around, never once had a goal of how much I was going to lose in one particular week or in one particular month. Zero. I did not have that goal. To me, my goal was, okay, my commitment this week is to walk 15, 20, 30, 40 minutes a day. My commitment is not to drink soda, not to eat fried, whatever it is for that week. That was my goal. And if I succeeded at doing that, I was successful. Guess what? Most of the time, I lost weight. It was a consequence of what I was doing. Had I focused on, I'm losing 10 pounds this week, what if I would have done everything that I needed to do and I lost 8 pounds? I would have been a failure in my eyes because I didn't hit that number, right? Is that a failure? Absolutely not. So that's why I'm adamant about telling people, do not put a number. Do not put a number. Do not worry, not only about that number, but don't worry. one of the number one questions I get is, Ellie, how long did it take you to lose weight? Of course, I answer it. It took me, about 14 months to lose 110 pounds. People are so worried about how long it's going to take them. What's the difference? You have the rest of your life to live. Start focusing on what you can do today. And I promise you, as a consequence, the weight will come off. It will motivate you to continue doing what you're doing, to continue adding to what you're doing, which will make you lose weight, which will continue motivating you. And it's such a beautiful cycle. That's where it's at.
Yeah, going back to what we were talking about earlier of you have to make this a lifestyle change. This cannot be a situation where you feel like you're dieting or you feel like you're just hitting it hard for 12 weeks or 24 weeks or whatever. You have to look at this as a lifestyle change and start identifying the things in your life that are holding you back. If you start focusing on changing your lifestyle and doing the things that we all know needs to happen, right? Every one of us here is smart enough. If we were smart enough to log into this BLAB, then we're smart enough to know that there are certain things in our lives that we can identify right off the bat. We don't have to hire somebody to tell us to stop drinking regular soda. We don't have to hire somebody to tell us not to eat at McDonald's every day. Come on. Some of this is common sense, and we need to go in at a one step at a time approach. I completely agree. Whether you have the willpower and the motivation right now to say, okay, look, I'm not going to drink soda and I'm not going to eat at McDonald's this week. If that's something you can tackle, great. Take 2 steps forward. But if right now you need to identify one of those 10 things that you've identified and start just chipping away at your lifestyle into something better, then do that. Because we all have different levels of what we can handle and what we can't. And so if you happen to know yourself and know, look, I know historically, and I know right now in my mental mindset that, hey, if I cannot, if you tell me that I can't eat McDonald's and I can't have Coke, I'm going to kill somebody or I'm going to fall off the wagon in 48 hours. Then don't do it. Don't do all that, because that obviously is just going to lead to another complete cycle of, negative self-talk and shame and all of this stuff that's involved. But if you know that, hey, not regular soda, I can do this just like Ellie did, then great. Set these small goals and jump right in and just do it. Follow through.
The great thing is that for a lot of people that are severely overweight, and severely overweight is relative, but it could be anywhere from, depending on how tall you are or whatever, it could be 40 pounds to 200 pounds. I don't know. The great thing is that you don't have to stop eating McDonald's. And I am definitely not condoning McDonald's eating, and I am not endorsing McDonald's in any way. We're just using that as an example. But let's say you want to eat McDonald's. It's just too much for you. You cannot stop eating your Big Mac or your Egg McMuffin in the morning. Then find something that you can do and stick to that for a week, for 2 weeks, for 3 weeks, till you feel confident enough to add to that. And what we're saying here is repetitive, but the truth is this is what we want to get into your mind, is that it's not about all or nothing. The people we run into day in and day out say the exact same things. Sometimes in different words, but they're the exact same things. Oh my God, I don't know if should I buy this protein shake or should I buy? I'm like, don't worry about protein shakes right now. Or don't worry. Sometimes you do have to worry about protein shakes. Sometimes people are ready for that type of supplementation. What we're saying is that you don't have to worry about the magazines and what people are. There's so many schools of thought out there that you're going to go absolutely crazy. What you have to do is, for the most part, I really do suggest finding some type of coach, whether it's me, Jeremy, or 100,000 other great professionals out there, whether it's motivational, whether it's a trainer, make sure you research them, make sure and have somebody to be accountable to and follow them. If you're following a particular coach and Fat Boy Fit Man comes out and says something that is contrary to that, don't listen to me. Listen to your coach, because you have to commit to that way of thinking. Because if you start going back and forth between one way of thinking, another way of thinking, this guy says this and this coach says that and this one says that, you're not going to get anywhere. Focus on that one particular way of thinking, whether you hire somebody or you follow somebody online, or whether you go on bodybuilding.com or shapefit.com or all these great websites that you can go on, follow that at least for 6 to 8 weeks. It's the only way you're going to know if it works for you or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're at a crossroads in a road and you go 15 miles in one direction, then decide to turn right back around and drive 15 miles in a different direction, you're in the same exact spot as you started.
Exactly. That's a good analogy, man.
There's more than one way from point A to point B. And so Ellie is absolutely right. I mean, if you're following 15 different people's approach, you're bound to get extremely confused, first of all, and then secondly, you won't know what's true and what's not. And so I highly recommend going with somebody. And Ellie, let's just focus on you and me for right now. Let's not say there's 100,000 other coaches out there.
No, you know what, Jeremy, you know what, man? The truth is, you know what, the beautiful thing and why I love working with you and why you happen to be my personal friend, because Jeremy and I just don't work together. We've hung out in Vegas, or we've gotten drunk together and partied with our wives. So we really are friends, and we are happy for each other's successes. One of the reasons that I work with Jeremy and why he's my friend also is because we're real, and we're not here to sell you just on us. We're not. Do we do this for a living? Absolutely, we do this for a living. Would we love for you to work with us? Absolutely, we would love for you to work with us. But having said that, if it means not working with us, we still want you to be happy. We still want you to be healthy. We still want you to find, your way of being. So, Jeremy's kidding, and I hope, and I know he's kidding. But the idea here is not, we're not selling ourselves here today. We're selling a way of life. We're selling a way of thinking. We're selling a philosophy. We're selling an approach that you can take and work with yourself, with Jeremy and I, or with whoever you feel comfortable with. Jeremy, I was reading here something. Hold on 1 second. Whoa, where'd it go? I was reading something. And,
what was it about?
Hold on, I can't remember. I needed to read it. It was what I think she actually went offline. A pretty blonde girl had written something, and I lost it.
She said,
sorry. Yeah. No, I love my coffee with creamer. She says, I love my coffee with creamer. Guess what? I love my coffee with creamer, and I'm going to give you a suggestion. It's not the healthiest of things, but if you're looking to get rid of fat in your diet, extra fat from the creamer, I highly suggest using non-dairy powdered creamer. It's not the healthiest of stuff. It's very processed or what have you. But if you must have something and you want to get rid of the fat, that is the way I would go. Although the fat in creamer, especially if you use just pure, real creamer, it is really not that bad if you're cutting your fat out of other things. But coffee with creamer, I have one every day, but I use my non-dairy, non-fat creamer. So just wanted to share that with you, pretty blonde girl.
Yeah, she's saying that she's lactose intolerant and it upsets her stomach. But there are other options out there, and then also something that I've found very useful, because I used to load my coffee up with creamer. Was I just started kind of weaning myself off of it. Instead of saying, "Oh, I have to have black coffee," I went from probably 6 tablespoons of creamer in my cup of coffee to 5, and then to 4, and then to 3, and then to 2, and then to 1, and so. That's a way of kind of easing yourself off of it. And there's no, you have to get this done in a matter of 4 or 5 days. I mean, what if it takes 3 weeks? Who cares? Yeah, exactly. You've got the rest of your lives. This is a ongoing thing. This whole thing is called a journey for a reason. It's not like I said before, it's not I'm going to hit it hard for 12 weeks, or I'm going to, I'm going to do this for 6 months. And then, I'll bring this up. It's kind of a side note. It irks me to the point that I will correct them on the phone. When I have an intro call with a client, and this is a very common statement, I'm sure somebody in here has said this exact same thing, but when they say, I just really want to focus and get this weight off. And I pause and I say, you know what, right there, you've already said, you just really need to focus right here, right now, for this 12 weeks or for this 6 months and get this weight off. We have to start looking at this as changing my life, changing my lifestyle, right? We just really need to buckle down and get this weight off. No, you don't need to just buckle down. We need to change the habits that got you to this point to begin with. That's the key. That's the key, because if you just buckle down and hit it hard and use all your willpower for the next 12 weeks or 24 weeks, well, eventually we're going to stop this. You can't have this willpower forever. And what are you going to fall back on when you're done hitting it hard? You're going to fall back on the habits that got you to your start.
And unfortunately, Jeremy, that when you hit it hard, when you're going from 0 to 60 and you're hitting it hard, I guarantee you that most people will not last even 6 weeks hitting it hard, unfortunately. You have to hit it hard today, and then hit it hard today, and then hit it hard today. And today means today. That's it. That's all we got. You wake up tomorrow, and tomorrow is, guess what? You tell me, Jeremy, tomorrow's going to be what? Today.
That's right.
Tomorrow's going to be today. And that's what we have to focus on. And we do have to hit it hard. And that's all relative also. It all depends on where we're at, where we individually are, who we individually are, and what our individual goals are. That's all relative. Hitting it hard. I can guarantee you Jeremy's hitting it hard is very different than mine. I hit it much harder. It's true. I'm not a power lifter. I'm not at the level that you are, Jeremy, as far as physical fitness is concerned. We're at different levels. Does that mean that I'm less than you or that you're more than me? Absolutely not. And the same goes with everybody else out there. Is it any different that, I lost 110 pounds and you haven't yet, or that I'm in this for 8 years and you've just started, or because I wrote a book and you don't have one? No, we're the exact same people. That's the point that we're trying to get across here, is that you can do this too. And when I'm talking to you, I'm talking to everyone out there that's listening to this, whether live or listening to it recorded. Okay. And I think Jeremy will agree with me, is that we are two regular guys that have taken a passion, that have found success in our lives, physically, mentally, emotionally, because getting, weight loss and fitness is not just about our bodies. It's about the mind. It's about the soul, whatever that means to you, and about the rest of our family, work, careers. Everything changes. Everything. Yeah. And that's what we want for you, honestly. And this one step at a time approach that I call to sustainable weight loss, I'm a motivational speaker, for those of you that don't know, and I go out across the country, hopefully internationally very soon, to speak about this. And many times I don't speak about weight loss. I speak about one step at a time as an approach to any goal achieving in life at all. I've spoken at corporations, to executives that don't necessarily need to lose weight. They just wanted to hear about the one step at a time approach to being successful, whatever that means to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I released I went at Facebook Live. Do you do Facebook Live, Ellie?
I see that you do. I have not done it, but I'm all over social media. So yeah. I'm sure that we can hook up and do something like that.
Yeah, I did a Facebook Live earlier this week, and this falls right in line with what I was saying. And I have used this. You call it what you want. In this case, we're going to call it the one step of time approach, because at least here, and this is his thing. But this same approach is the exact same approach I have used to build up several different businesses. I've owned multiple businesses. I've been self-employed for years and years and years. And it's the same approach that I use to grow anything in my life. And when you get to the basics of what's in your book, it really can, and what you're about and everything else, I don't doubt that you have tremendous success speaking in front of people that don't even need to lose weight, that this can be applied to any goal they have in their life, whether it be business, whether it be relationships, whether it be whatever. A lot of these same principles can be used in multiple areas of our life. Now, I don't even know. We've been going on for almost an hour here. So we're gonna wrap it up and let you guys get back to your night. But I want to cover a few things. First of all, in case there's been a lot of people that joined us after we started. And so I want to remind everybody that Ellie has a fantastic book that's available right now. I'm going to paste in the link to that in Amazon. It's in the chat box right now. Get the hard copy version. If you can't afford that, there's a $4 Kindle version. That is the best $4 you're going to spend today. Read it and take it to heart, because he truly has hit the nail on the head. The guy is amazing. You'll see. I'm also going to paste in a link to Ellie's Facebook page. If you haven't already, go and follow this guy online. You're going to see if you liked anything of what we were talking about today, then follow him and myself online, because this is what we're about. Like we said, this isn't us selling anything. It's us motivating and inspiring and sharing some of the stuff that we've learned over years. And we're going to be doing more of these. There was a question that came up saying, do you guys do these weekly? No, not yet. But we are going to be doing more of these. I am actually going to be doing more of these with other guests. Ellie's going to be doing more of these with other guests.
And we're going to be doing more of these together.
And we are, and like I was going to say, we are going to be doing more of these together. So follow him and follow me. If you want to know how to do that, on the screen, you're going to see a little icon of a human being. You can click that plus sign. I believe it's a plus sign next to a torso, and that's going to follow each of us. I have one next to my name on my video, and Ellie has one next to his name on the video, and you can follow us. And so I hope that you guys have found this motivational, inspirational, whatever it may be. It's been a lot of fun, and like I said, we're going to be doing more of these together, and so just stay tuned. Keep following us, and I'd like to open it up for some questions though. Does anybody have questions, specific things maybe that we covered but you had you wanted more information on or something? Anybody, type it in.
Bring it on. You got celebrity trainer Jeremy Reid right here to answer your questions, and Fat Boy Fitman. Oh, now everybody's quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everybody was typing away, and all of a sudden, everybody's quiet. I think maybe people are typing. Let's give them a few minutes. Jeremy, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. I truly, truly hope that everyone here is leaving with a renewed sense of inspiration and motivation, and hopefully with some very practical tips that we've spoken about. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas if you celebrate it. If you don't, a Merry Day, a very Happy New Year. We look forward to seeing you again. Like we said, Jeremy and I will be doing these individually. I look forward to doing it together with Jeremy again. I think we're a great team, and we're going to bring you a lot more stuff in the future. And let's take this question. Gary Willis asks, organic meat versus mass-produced, is one better than the other? Jeremy, I'm going to let you take that question, man.
Okay. Yes, there is. One is better than the other, and I'll tell you why. Now, there is a significant cost increase to organic grass-fed, we'll talk about beef, versus the mass-produced beef, and a lot of it has to do with the diet of the actual cow. Now, what the cow eats is actually going to go into the quality of the meat and the quality of the fats that this cow produces. So what you're going to find is that the grass-fed organic meats actually have higher amounts of omega-3s. Their fats in the meat are healthier than your traditional mass-produced beef. And so there is health benefits to eating that. With the same thing applied, there is health benefits to the grass-fed organic butter, the milk, the everything else. Truly, the makeup of the fats in the product, whether it be butter, milk, beef, the actual meat itself is actually going to be better. You'll see if you do the research that there's much higher levels of omega-3s in the fats in the beef. So there is health benefits. Now, with that said, let me be honest with you. I don't buy it. I don't. The expense, in my opinion, with the amount that I eat, I can't do it. It's an investment that I'm not willing to make, mainly just because I circulate my protein sources all the time. I'm always eating, I'm eating fish, I'm eating shrimp, I'm eating beef, I'm eating turkey, I'm eating whatever. So for me to go all organic, grass-fed on everything I eat, I've tried it, and it's ridiculously expensive for the amount that I eat. And I also don't force my clients to eat it either because of that same reason. Not everyone can go down to their, Whole Foods or Sprouts or whatever it is and pay, upwards of $15+ a pound for something that's going to cost, $5.99 a pound in their regular grocery store. It's just, I understand not everyone can do that, but if it is something you can do, there are certainly health benefits for doing so.
There's another question here, Jeremy. It says, I guess this question is for me. Does your book cover mental issues, for example, control issues with food? My mom dictated everything I ate as a kid. Now as an adult, I can't follow a coach. I end up rebelling and always backslide. Does it cover mental issues? Actually, it does. Not only with food, but I also speak about, I suffered with severe anxiety and panic disorder, which personally, as a personal opinion, I think there is a link between obesity and anxiety disorder. I can't say that professionally because I am not a doctor. I am not a psychologist. I am not a therapist. I'm only saying it as a personal opinion. I am fortunate enough not to be suffering with anxiety and panic disorder now for many, many, many years. There is a huge mental aspect to obesity. We don't eat food to reach that type of weight, at least the weight that I had reached, over 100 pounds overweight, because we love food. I still love food. I'm not 100 pounds overweight. There's a huge mental aspect of it. My book touches upon that on a personal level. So the book is a very personalized, tells you a lot about my life, about how I dealt with certain things. And one of the main things that I get emails, a lot of emails that I get and messages that I get from people that have read the book are, my God, Ellie, I read your book and I felt I was reading my own story. Like I said earlier, we have, there's a lot of common denominators for those of us that have suffered with obesity and that are recovering food addicts. I consider myself a recovering food addict. There's a lot, there's a lot of common denominators, and I think that you will find in the book that you'll be nodding your head, yes, oh my God, yes, that's me, yes, that's me, yes, that's me, yes, that's me. And hopefully I cover points where you will be able to take in your own way and take your own approach and take your one step and become successful.
And I think that a very similar response applies to a couple of these questions. One from Navy Cop 68. I came in late, but how do you deal with just a complete lack of motivation? I feel motivated, but just have a hell of a time following through and actually doing it. I guess Stephen is your name. Stephen, something we talked about several times throughout, and you may have missed it, is taking small little increments so that you're not just jumping in, right? You feel motivated, but then probably, if I was guessing, I don't know your story, but if I was guessing, you're looking at whatever your goal is, whether it's 10 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, you're looking at that and it's this giant mountain in front of you and all of a sudden you're getting defeated. Am I somewhat right here, Stephen, if you're still on? And so something that we mentioned here, and you're not even able to follow through because it's too much work, it's too much change, it's too much whatever. And exactly in Ellie's book and Ellie's philosophy of one step at a time, and something that I definitely preach as well, is let's start small and focus on today. What can we do today? What's one small change from your lifestyle that you can change in order to change your life for the better today? And he says, divorced after a long time, long-term marriage, feeling easily defeated. And it's easy to do, right? I mean, whatever the circumstances are, you've got a lot of emotional stuff going on. Don't focus on the end goal. Focus on today, tomorrow. Plan out your day tomorrow. In fact, Stephen, that's what I would ask you to do. Like tonight, plan out tomorrow. What is tomorrow going to look like for you? And what's one thing in your lifestyle that you can already pinpoint is holding you back or a big negative in your life, especially if we're dealing with, our health and fitness and everything else. What's one thing maybe you're consuming, you're eating, you're whatever, that is holding you back? I guarantee you can pick out one thing, and I would challenge you to plan out your day tomorrow and implement that one thing.
Jeremy, I'll add one more thing for Stephen. Sometimes one step at a time doesn't even mean one day at a time. Sometimes it means 1 hour at a time. Sometimes it means 5 minutes at a time. sometimes it's so overwhelming for us. And you happen to mention, divorce after a long-term marriage. I was divorced after almost 18 years, so I can definitely empathize with you. I don't know your particular circumstance, but I was there as well. And it's definitely feels defeated, it feels defeating. And many times my one step at a time wasn't, what am I going to do today? It's, how am I going to get through this next hour, or how am I going to get through these next 5 minutes? And that's how I would break it down to the absolute minimum or maximum that I can handle at the time. If it was 5 minutes, it was 5 minutes. If it's an hour, it was an hour. If it was, if I can handle planning out a day, then I would, and sometimes that changes. You think you can plan out a day, and it ends up, comes half the day and you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to do. Then bring it right back down to that particular hour or time. Delana J says that she's working with Jeremy on a 12-week program, and she's seeing results that she can only dreamed of. She's so motivated. There's no way I'm not finishing. Looks like you're doing a good job, Jeremy.
Wow, what do you know?
It looks like Delana is doing a good job too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's it's one of the things you said in the intro is, hey, this isn't rocket science. There's knowledge of fitness and nutrition that I hold and you hold. There's knowledge of this, of pointing people in the right direction, and like I do all day long, specifying, caloric and macro intake for customers, for designing fitness programs that have the right volume and targeting the right muscle groups, and taking into consideration recovery and all of this stuff. And you can get as advanced as you want, but at the same time, going back to the basics of what we're talking about in this episode is, you don't have to jump into all that to see some of these results. I mean, Ellie saw 2 pounds of weight loss just by not drinking soda and started walking 15 minutes a day. And 2 pounds a week is over 100 pounds a year average. Some people are like, oh, I only lost 2 pounds this week. I've had clients tell me that. Oh, I've only lost 2 pounds this week. In fact, some of the people that have even commented in the chat box are clients of mine who have said, exactly, who have said, I only lost 2 pounds this week. And what have I told you guys? I've told you, think in your head, 2 pounds a week is over 100 pounds a year. How many people do you know that in a 12-month period has lost over 100 pounds a year? Not very many. For everyone that has had that success, there's been an unbelievable amount that started and stopped and got off the boat. So anyway, let's wrap this up. It's been over an hour. I want to thank, seriously, guys, thank you so much for being here, for interacting, all of this stuff. It's been truly a pleasure from my standpoint. I'm already looking forward to doing this again, on a different topic, and then picking a different topic with Ellie and bringing him back and doing all this. So anyway, awesome. If you need to scroll back up, there's links to Ellie's book online on Amazon. There's links to his Facebook page. There's links to my Facebook page. Please, guys, follow us online, interact with us. We're here to help. We're here to guide. We're here to motivate. Anyone that's followed us for more than a week knows that. So look for us again.
This is recorded, so you can actually share it if you feel that somebody that hasn't seen it, you can, and you can go back and look at it yourself if there's parts that you want to hear that perhaps you missed.
Absolutely, yeah. This is recorded, and shortly after we end the session here, it's going to be able to be replayed here on BLAB. I'm also going to be downloading a copy and putting it on Facebook and YouTube, and that can be shared as well. So if you guys came in halfway or 3/4 of the way, or somebody that would have benefited from this, please share it with them. Find it on our Facebook pages and share it with them. Again, I want to thank everyone here. Ellie, to sign us off, if you could give just one piece of advice, a life lesson, it doesn't even have to be about fitness and nutrition, or it may, one piece of advice, what would it be?
One piece of advice, live your life today. Live
Amen.
your life today. That's it. Just literally live your life for the moment. And I'll just leave it there, man. Live your life today. That's
I love it. I like it. All right, guys, we're going to sign off. You guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend, a fantastic night. Let's set our goals for this next week. Take it a day at a time, and let's just, let's really get to our goals one step at a time here as we go forward. And if I don't talk to you before then or hit you up on Facebook or whatever, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all of it. I hope that you have a fantastic holiday season, enjoying it with the people that you love and feeling loved and appreciated in the time being. So, Ellie, thank you so much.
Thank you, man. And thank everybody for coming. And I look forward to seeing you guys on social media.
All right. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.